The construction of everyday life is evident throughout the city of Bangkok, but oftentimes we overlook the places we frequent the most in search for a wider scope of everyday life. While analyzing those are also important in understanding life in Bangkok, we should not forget to analyze the place that we, as Balak students, come to every day. That is our arts buildings, the Mahachakri Sirinthorn. It is the place we spend most of our time in, and it is the most vital part of our life. But because of this, we tend to overlook many things in this space because it becomes integrated and invisible to us. This is why, by looking closer and analyzing these places, we see how it is not just an empty vacuum but a space that is socially produced. One of the most mundane places is the hall on the first floor. It is one of the first places we come to at the start of the day. We walk by it without noticing the production of space, power, and resistance embedded in it. The conceived space is one designed as the reception place of the faculty. It is a place of first impressions. However, how the students use this space is completely different from how it is intended to be used. In the early mornings, we see students plug in their computers and create their own personal space, sitting on the ground, reading books, and making that space a lived space. They are comfortable here, almost as if they are still at home. 9 a.m. marks time for another spatial production, the classroom. It is another place where we spend most of our time every day and forget how this space is conceived as a place of learning. However, we do not perceive it the same way. We use it differently. Evidence of discipline and power in the spatial production can be seen especially in large lecture rooms. The lecturer is placed on a raised platform, a position of power, while they look over the rest of the class. The students are in the position of subordination, but as Michael Foucault said, where there is power, there is resistance. Through students' creation of lived space, we find this resistance. The various acts of table moving and creating their own lived space by taking ownership of the tables around them are little points of resistance. The conception of the building itself also leads to production of power. We see elevators only for teachers and tables reserved for teachers at the canteen. In these spaces, power of the professors in relation to the students is clearly depicted. Sometimes we value so much on what we see that we forget that everyday life is also constructed in the elements we don't see. At the point of resistance, we create lived spaces, as evident by the chairs, but who moves our spatial production back to the conceived space during the periods between classes? The cleaning ladies. The most distinct otherness in the building are the cleaning ladies. They are hiding in their own private spaces, and they discipline themselves to be invisible as their job also contains the stigma of invisibility. They are more likely to hide themselves in the bathroom or would seek their own places. It is very uncommon to see maids in the public space, or even if they are there, we don't quite notice them. They don't usually sit in the canteen but have their own space or room where they spend their leisure time and eat their lunches. They also wait until students leave the classrooms or come very early before class to clean the classrooms. They do not have the power to enter the rooms to tell the students not to leave trash after class. How we associate their position in lower hierarchy also stems from the space we often see them spend their time in. This is the toilet. The toilet is encoded with connotations of lower class. It is seen as something unhygienic, and people don't normally spend time in there. So because we often see maids spend their lives in the toilet, we associate their jobs as something of less importance. We therefore essentialize them as being inferior and marks a distinction between us, who are more dominant, and them. Within the student body itself, there is a sense of hierarchy. Most people do not notice the floor between the lobby and the second floor, the M1. However, this space houses the most prestigious faction of the student body, the Students' Council of the Faculty of Arts, more commonly known to us as the GAUS. While other students sit in the lobby during normal activities like chatting, eating, and studying, on M1 there is the GAUS room. They have their own space to operate their power within the faculty. GOS deals with the student issues in the Faculty of Arts, such as activities like Lap Nong and Freshie Games. These two activities are two of the most important activities within a university life. GOS therefore exercise their power in controlling all the process of these activities. The placement of the room on M1 helps lift their supremacy over other students. With the design of the balcony, the M1 floor has the view over the first floor area, and from there, members of GOS can oversee any activity that is taking place on the first floor by the rest of the art students. The establishment of a private space allows them to create their own distinct lifestyle that is only accessible by members of GOS. Their room is fully furnished with better-looking lockers, their own printer, computer, cupboard, and so on. It is a private space that other students in the faculty don't get the chance to have unless they are part of this group. In between classes and after class, there is a hidden spot for smokers which is located in the back of the building by the rubbish area. In the building itself, there is no proper space for smokers to stand. They are another group of others because smoking is considered unacceptable publicly. Although they do not have rights to smoke in any area of the buildings, they form themselves as a group to resist the authority by creating their own space. They occupy the space near the garbage disposal area. Of course, this space does not allow students to smoke, as staff members have once put a no smoking sign in the area. But smokers stake their claim on this space by removing the sign. This is significant to them to have power in this space because smokers need to find a place where they are not the other. It allows them to make what they are doing seem like normality and not transgression. This is their live space, where they feel most comfortable. Furthermore, it is not only students who create this resistance. Teachers are also part of it. The smoking spot is not just a place for them to smoke, but it is a place where they use to exercise their power and find other people who are like them. In this same area, we see the act of mainstreaming by a group of people who outside of this faculty might be seen as the others. These are the homosexuals. There is a subversion of stigmatizing and essentializing here, where we don't see them as the others. They are so integrated into the lives of the arts faculty that they seem to become one with the rest, maybe also because they do not consider themselves as the others here. Although you may argue that there is little to see in this fast-paced space of the arts faculty, by slowing it down and actually see, you can notice so much about the production of space, otherness, essentialism, and power and resistance here. A space we spend most of our time in every day, but almost always fail to recognize the act of everyday life production.